everyone, welcome back to Live Talk. The talk today is going to be about business, it's going to be about personal growth, professional growth, and much more. So happy to have you here. Don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to give us your thumbs up, because that will help us keep growing the channel and keep promoting good content among the cyberspace. So without further ado, I present to you, I would like to introduce you to my good friend, James New. Man, I always have a hard time with your last name, Newell. Is that
Perfect,
correct
yeah.
to pronounce, Newell?
Yeah, perfect.
All right.
Just don't call me. You can call me whatever you like. Just don't call me late for dinner.
That's not a good idea. All right. I understand that very, very, very well. James, welcome to Live Talk. How are you doing?
Good. Thanks for inviting me. Great to be here. Yeah. So what do you want to know about business and personal growth, or you want to basically? Should I introduce myself first?
Yeah, let us begin there.
Are we actually going to be live, like video as well, or just sound? Because
no, this is going to. Well, I didn't shave myself, so we're okay. We're okay.
I got a haircut yesterday just for our occasion today. So
there you go.
Right.
I didn't. Okay. That's why I'm wearing a cappy right now, because I didn't comb my hair.
But okay, so
yeah, for the audience, Newell. For the people they don't know you, and among my audience, please let us know, who is James Newell.
Okay, I'm a expatriate from the U.S. Grew up in New York. Been in Germany since 1995. Came here with the military from 89 to 95, and been in the German space of serving German customers and German companies the last 20 some odd years.
Right.
And my background is more in behavioral science and helping people understand themselves, and then help them understand their business, and then help them to operationally increase their effectiveness in their business, which usually transfers to their life as well. So a lot of the principles that I work with people now are based upon over 25 years of experience of building businesses, from startups to working with big corporations, and helping basically leaders and people understand their process better, what they do every day, and find their passion in what they do. Or if they haven't found their passion in what they do, to maybe look for something else to be able to answer the question, why am I getting up every day?
My goodness. As
father of 5, my wife's German. I've got 27-year-old down to a 7-year-old.
All right. My goodness. Well, I have only 4, so you beat me there. You have 5. Very good. There's a lot of good information there. I don't know where to begin with. Well, we have a tradition before we dive into some of the topics that you just mentioned. We have a tradition in Live Talk, and that is our happy mug tradition. I have mine, and my audience know already my cup, but I believe you have also your happy mug or your favorite mug there. Do you have a story behind it?
It's actually a generic mug.
All right.
From, I don't want to use any marketing, but everybody knows where it's from probably. And it's one of the less things, one of the less complicated things that I have to worry about, because we have only 8 of these.
Oh.
And that's all we have. That means I always have the same mug all the time. So I have less decisions to make, which means I usually have
one thing less to worry about, right?
Exactly. So it's my favorite mug, because it's one of those things where I know it's always my favorite, because they're all the same.
There you go. Well, cheers. I don't know, what are you drinking? Coffee? Tea?
No, tea. Yeah.
Oh, you're a tea person? I thought you were a coffee people.
Both. Yeah, I start with coffee, and then I have my 3 liters of tea per day. So.
Oh, what is your favorite tea?
Pura tea, Chinese herbal tea, good for your your track. I don't know what you call it in English.
Digestion.
Digestive digestive
Ah,
tract.
all right, all right. Very health conscious, very nice. Well, you mentioned a few things in your introduction, and one of the things that I would like to, I mean, you mentioned behavioral science and entrepreneurship and working with startups and big corporations and leadership and things like that. So let me ask you this first. I mean, um, you you work with startups, small teams and entrepreneurs, and as well as with big corporations. Um, is there any difference in the challenges they face in today's business world in regard to
Comes
leadership?
down, yeah, it comes down to, well, my experience is that they all have the same challenges. It's just at a different scale.
Okay.
If they all have challenges with employee retention.
Ah.
So regardless if it's a startup with high fluctuation or a big company that might have low retention, but high inner quitters.
What does that mean?
Inner quitter means they're just there to collect the money. They're not really
Ah.
engaged. So for me, it's just the same as high fluctuation because they're just doing what they have to do to get by.
Yeah.
And they're just saying, I can't quit because the money's too good or I'm too comfortable.
Right.
They've quit inside, inner quitter. They've quit inside, which for me is just like fluctuation.
Right.
So it's comes down to the fact of, how do you engage your employees?
Right.
Either startups engage them usually quickly,
Mm-hmm.
and then they fizzle out, whereas big companies, they've never engaged them, and you have intrinsic motivation from some,
Mm-hmm.
and the rest, larger companies, at least in Germany, you have a high portion of disengaged people who just collect their income and do what they have to do to get by.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Even the studies show that as
well. Right. Did you find that out? Is that very present in the startups, or where do you see?
The startups have high energy,
Right.
high motion, lots and lots of people. People get, either they find their connection and continue the high hours of work, or they become efficient, or they burn out.
Right. Right. So they're very motivated at the beginning, and then, in your experience, how long does that passion or excitement or high energy level last in startups?
Interesting enough, because the German 6 months is called a probationary time. Usually they'll, if they make the first 6 months with the energy, it drops up to 7th or 8th month.
Oh, okay.
So it's interesting to see, and to lead leaders to sort through those challenges when they have high energy, and then after 6th or 7th or 8th month, after the probationary period is closed, that people then start to bring less power,
right.
Because this German laws are there, then hard to then to fire.
Right. So once you have your security, quote unquote, and then you let yourself a little bit let go, or
yeah, it happens with we call Angestellte, or the ones that are hired full time.
Right.
And my job has always tried to help leaders get past that with their teams, to say, okay, we're going to have that level of that's going to come. What does the team need to get past that? That way, there's no, because the leader's responsible for everything. Right. He's responsible for how people receive, perceive, and achieve within their department. So if there are inner quitters, it's the responsibility of the leader. If there's people high fluctuation, it comes down to the leader. Leaders getting paid for that type of responsibility. So I basically help leaders establish fundamental structures That way, everything is possible for the employees to be engaged, and the leader has less arguments to say, well, I did offer, we did have installed the weekly stand-ups to share your issues, to share your strengths and share your goals. If employee X doesn't do that, it's not because the leader didn't offer it. It's because the employee didn't take the chance. And that's key, because a lot of employees don't have the chance. And then the leader said, well, it's the employee's fault. No, the leader doesn't install that ability for the person to be engaged. It's his responsibility. So I'll help leaders, take those arguments away from the employees by establishing such elements and such structures. That way, when things do happen, the leader says, well, we have these meetings.
Right.
They're there for that reason. Why aren't you taking advantage of that? There's no excuse any longer. And that's key.
Right.
Key.
You mentioned at the beginning that you have a background in behavioral science. Do you see, I mean, you come from the States, do you see any major or significant difference in that regard? I mean, you're mentioning that, this leadership engagement, proactive, I would say. I mean, I see what you're saying. Is one thing is to offer, it's there. Why didn't you take advantage of it, right? And another thing is to inspire, maybe. Is there any difference culturally among businesses in the States and Germany or Europe? I mean, you have international experience.
Yeah, exactly. I've been around the world from Asian countries to Indian companies. And what I find universally is countries that are more, I would say, have a more higher entrepreneur spirit, or countries that have a huge lower income class that really
struggling class.
They see the opportunities of what entrepreneurship can offer. Those countries have a high spirit of self-inspiration, or getting behind a leader that is inspiring, because generally people buy into the leader first before they buy his vision. Not the other way around. Unfortunately, a lot of leaders try to sell their vision, and then they realize they can't lead their people, and then eventually fall apart because the vision fizzles out. But if people buy you as a leader, and then they buy your vision, and buy into your vision, you usually have a golden ticket.
It's been my experience that that a lot of leaders, people in charge or owners of businesses, they see their role as, I don't know, their role as a rule enforcer. I mean, this is what we're going to achieve. This is what we need to do, and I have given you the information. Now just do it, right? But there is a disconnect, right, between the vision, what you're talking about, and the people involved. Is that what you're referring to?
Yeah, I think the key thing is that I have a quote: "A leader without a vision is a follower." So a leader needs to be able to communicate that vision in such a manner that everybody understands.
Right.
And those who don't understand, he needs to make sure that he speaks their language, or at least tries to speak their language. If he's done all he could to communicate that vision and create momentum, he'll be basically mandated to be micromanagement.
Right.
If you have people inspired behind your vision, they'll find ways to support that vision and get their work done.
They're convinced, right?
They're convinced. So they have a reason. They know what they're doing. They know why they're doing it. They know what they're doing. They're going to be looking for opportunities from themselves intrinsically, from inside, from behavioral science. If they know why they're doing something, why they're following the leader, why they're following the vision, they will optimize their own process by learning better techniques for the job. It'll become an intrinsic type of development.
Right.
Whereas a company or a manager that doesn't communicate their vision, doesn't have one, he'll be forced to manage by objective,
Right.
and be managed by objective, or managed by through metrics, and then micro. Because if you have people working on the process, the results will get better anyways. That's guaranteed. But if you have a manager who only manages results, it's already too late. That's why I love in sales. If you're handling objections, it's too late. How do you handle those objections before they even come?
Right. Yeah. People, you're reacting, right? Not reactive mode type of thing. Yeah. Okay. You just mentioned, communicating the vision. What other two, or in your opinion, what are the most important jobs, responsibilities of a leader in any type of setting?
To protect the team from external influences, which means I call it my umbrella, my leadership umbrella. In big corporations, you'll have problems or have challenges that everybody's trying to take the attention of your employees, or trying to utilize them, or trying to, the departments that are attached indirectly. So efficiency and effectiveness is key to communicate to your people that you work for your process, optimize your process. That's the work that you have to do. If there are people outside of my command, basically you work for me. If there are people outside my command, regardless of who it is, if it's my boss or the bosses from other people, I communicate to my team. It goes through my desk first. I need to make sure that they're not utilizing your time, which is my time, our time. So I would say it's key. Protect your people by protecting. And how to do that is basically let them know priority 1 is the job that you're doing within your own department, your own work. And priority 2 and 3 are outside. And we dictate how much of that becomes your priority. I do that by 1, telling my people, giving them a standard mail, a response mail, and I share that with my colleagues, letting them know if you get an email like this from my employee or my team member, it's because I told them to communicate so.
Okay. All right. So protecting them, communication, and what else? The third one?
Giving them room to learn.
Okay. Well, nice. That's
Learn
nice.
from each other, learn from me. So I mean, I'm always coaching my replacement.
Oh man, that's so healthy. Wow. Tell us more about that, because a lot of leaders are afraid of that one, in my opinion. Don't you think?
Yeah, I think it's key. I mean, at least here in my experience in Europe is that most leaders hold on like a squirrel to their nut, of their job. My mission is always make myself obsolete, which means I come into a team and my first job is to figure out who am I going to coach to replace me.
Right.
And to engage my team to learn from each other. So I have a rule 80-20. 80% they work in their job, they work on their field, what they have to do, their position, and 20% is used for self-organization and self-development, which means they can use almost 1 day a week. How are they split it off to be coach, to mentor someone in the team, to be mentored, and to self-organize, which means they organize their efficiency and effectiveness. They organize their week within that period of time. And over the last 20 years of doing that, I have always gotten more efficiency and more effectiveness with 80%, because the team teaches itself and learns from itself, which means I have constant agility. Team is always growing, and that brings efficiency.
Okay. Very good. So protect, communicate, and promote growth. Or how would you describe it in one word?
So yeah,
Give room for growth,
install,
or
install. Yeah, install and learning culture.
a growing culture. Install a growing culture. Very nice. Beautiful.
Learning culture.
Learning culture. Learning culture. Very nice. Beautiful. You are as we can see in your background, you are a certified John Maxwell leadership member. You belong to the team. You're a coach and trainer and a teacher, right? What's cooking? What is in your? Is there any major activities and major events that are happening in the near future in
Yeah,
your
currently, yeah,
agenda?
actually, good question. Yeah, good question. Currently, we have what's called the Live to Lead series of online and in-person events around Germany, around German-speaking Europe.
Mm-hmm.
And these events are in-person or virtual event where we have top speakers like John Maxwell, Kendra Scott, Marcus Buckingham, and Ryan Leake. They're giving keynote speeches. And then from these keynote speeches, where we can learn a lot just from the speech itself, we'll have within the agendas, either in person or online, we'll have breakout sessions or what we call mini workshops, where we learn very clearly and very effectively how to apply what we've just learned. So if Marcus Buckingham is speaking about how to love what you do, then how do we apply that? How do we apply what we just learned from Marcus when he's talking about love what you do? How do we apply that quickly?
Mm-hmm.
And that's what the workshops or the day, the events are built around. They're built around not only consuming good content, but also putting that content into
Mm-hmm.
practical application as soon as possible.
Right.
That way the value is much higher. And we have those all over. We have them planned throughout Germany, Switzerland, and we have online events. And basically reach out to me or to yourself. I believe we can also connect.
Right.
At the moment, the landing page is being built. You'll find them on Eventbrite. Just look for Live to Lead, and or live2lead.eu, live to with the number 2, live
Mm-hmm.
to lead, and or reach out to me directly, and I can point you in the right direction for the next event.
By the way, I'm going to leave all of James' contact information in the description box, so you can get direct access to him. You can write him an email. You can contact him through, what is your favorite one? LinkedIn, Facebook,
Yeah, I
or?
think that's probably best. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So
LinkedIn.
in the description box, you can find everything. We can probably add some of the links to the event, or will they be?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They'll be updated. They're currently have them in
Okay.
Eventbrite,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm moving them to a dedicated landing page. So
Mm-hmm.
we'll have that here in the next couple of weeks as
All
well.
right. So we'll add any relevant and current information in the description box. So if you have interest, please write James a note, an email, and he will get back to you. So these events are really interesting. So there are, virtual, hybrid, in-house. So this is like the whole package. People get the best of two worlds in
Yeah,
one package,
definitely.
right?
Definitely.
Awesome.
Well, the in-person events are planned to be in a networking environment.
Mm-hmm.
So you can meet people face to face. The virtual events are through Zoom,
Mm-hmm.
and we have the ability to do breakout sessions where I put, if we have 100 participants, I'm making 6 or 8 breakout sessions, and the
Mm-hmm.
goal is to discuss the material, the content that was just spoken from the keynote speaker, and answer questions or answer application questions, or even use a digital whiteboard, for example. It all depends on what the venue is designed for,
Right.
how we design it, but it's a very interactive plan. It's not just pure consuming. And that's what makes it unique. We know a
Mm-hmm.
lot of in Germany called Fachtagung,
Mm-hmm.
or special events where you go for a whole day and listen to people speak all day long,
Mm-hmm.
and write lots of notes and maybe network at coffee time.
Mm-hmm.
But practical application of how am I going to apply what I've just learned within the next couple of weeks. And
Right.
that's the whole idea,
Yeah.
to break it down and say, before I just before I'm filled for the entire day of information that I have to go through all my notes, because we all know
Right.
the majority of us don't go through the notes again.
Right. The event is gone, is in the past, and up to onto the next thing, right? So, what are some
Absolutely.
of the topics, really quick? I mean, they're very practical tools for
Yeah,
people to.
Kendra Scott is speaking about entrepreneurship.
Hmm.
Ryan Leake is speaking about chasing failure,
Hmm.
how to get up after failure, and how to chase failure for growth.
Hmm.
And Marcus Buckingham is, talking about um, loving what you do, finding your passion in your work,
Hmm.
and how to be self-engaged versus expecting to be engaged by your leader, which is one
Hmm.
of my key things, is helping people be self-engaged,
Hmm.
because a self-engaged employee is the best type of employee that you can have.
Hmm.
And John is basically speaking about leadership excellence, Excellol, and his experience the last 50 years of developing leaders. I think over 7 million leaders around the world at the moment.
Hmm.
He's one of the number one leadership developers in the world.
Right.
And everything he's written is basically so easy to understand that anybody can apply it. And that's what's
Hmm.
nice about the John Maxwell material, is that it's understandable. And
Right. Right.
just,
Very
you don't
practical
need
and very, yeah. Yeah.
to understand it.
Right. And for the breakout sessions, I mean, you are teaming up with other people that they have other material, other seminars that will add value to the whole experience.
Exactly.
The one thing that I love about these events is that the price is very what do you call that? Accessible? Is that the right word for that?
Yeah,
I
it's
mean,
it's a high value for a little price, because it's, we could actually take a lot more for the price,
hmm.
but our goal, or my goal, is to add value.
Hmm.
And you know it's not about what we make. We want to cover costs,
Hmm.
but it's about developing leaders to add value to their people, and
Hmm.
that's, you can't put a price on that.
Right.
So
Right.
I think less than 125 euros, 130 euros, you can participate,
Yeah.
have a full day of content, and
High
have
quality
really
content.
high quality. Yeah.
Uh, yeah.
So
Well, and the beautiful thing also is that people from all over the world, they can participate. I mean, we can do it. You can do that here in Germany in house, but also virtually. So that's a very very good thing. Well, you guys, as I told you, the oh, my clock is clinging. Can you hear it?
yeah.
Right. Just one sec. There you go. So if you're interested in finding more about these type of events, get in touch with James. One last thing before we close the interview today is that you're also very active trying to engage and help people that are maybe thinking about becoming a coach themselves. What can you tell us about that, James?
Yeah, the John Maxwell Leadership Development Program, or the Maxwell Leadership Certified Team, is a platform where John's material and his 50 years of experience, plus the experiences of over 48,000 coaches,
Hmm.
are on one platform,
Hmm.
which means not only the material that John has offered, his books, but is also how to apply those books through masterminds, through video masterminds. And as a coach, a lot of the coaching programs we have available to learn from, there's different programs out there for coaching.
Hmm.
You only have the material from that coach, or the material from that philosophy,
Right.
and study that philosophy for how long, and you have to develop your own ways.
Yeah.
But over 100 books being translated and transferred into practical application, masterminds, workbooks, learning modules, and then on top of that, business building techniques from people who built
Yeah.
6-7-year businesses. Is one huge community
Hmm.
that a Maxwell certified coach gets to join. And to put it this way, I've been a coach for a few years,
Right.
and I've only scratched about 10% of the actual material that's available to us.
Wow.
And you'll get lost in the material. you get lost in the woods and lose all the trees. You don't know
Right.
how but so there's an ability also to, grow yourself, and to also help grow leaders, and or within your own company to become a in-house trainer of trainers.
Mm-hmm.
So the John Maxwell platform or the Maxwell Leadership platform offers that type of connection, not only to be a coach, but also to the community of 48,000 coaches around the world in 192 countries.
Okay.
And we do not only that, but we also do country transformation,
Mm-hmm.
which means we work with the senior management, senior leadership of a country,
Mm-hmm.
from president, and help transform the cabinet and the country from inside out, which means we teach them good leadership values, and they teach themselves and they teach others, and like a positive virus, call it.
Right. A multiplier type of thing.
Multiple. So not only do we have business stuff, but we also do country transformation.
My goodness. Well, and you're based in Germany, but if anyone anywhere in the world, I mean, wants to find more about the certification program, they can get in touch with you, right?
Reach out to me, because we have a link. I can send you a link to learn more about that, and you can also find it online. But it'd be great if we can go through our connection, and because we're doing that in Germany, we're building the German platform as a copy of the American platform, and translating all the material into German, and hopefully here the next few months we'll have more and more material to offer to the German speaking. Hey, thanks for having me.
No, thank you. I mean, I'm going to include that in that link in the description box as well. And thank you. Thank you for the times fly. And before we leave, I also have a tradition. I would like to give you the last couple of minutes, as long as you want, to say goodbye with an encouraging word. I mean, if there is something that you can say that can encourage our viewers face the challenges of leadership today, what would that be, James? I'm gonna put you on the spot.
I would think I would give you I would put it this way. Imagine yourself in 5 years sitting in a train. If you're a leader, if you're a brand owner, doesn't matter. If you're a husband, if you're a wife, or leader of some sort, you can lead yourself, you can lead others, you can lead companies, you can lead corporations, but you can lead just people without being in leadership. So think about yourself in 5 years, whatever your position is, whatever your situation is, and you've got people sitting next to you, and they're talking about some person or some brand and speaking about it. And they speak about it more and more and more, and you can't help but listen because they're in cocktail distance, cocktail glass distance. And at some stage, you realize they're talking about you. They're talking about your brand. What would you like to hear? If you can answer that question, what would you like to hear? That will guide you to why you get up in the morning.
Right.
And if you can answer that question, why you get up in the morning, then you are much, much farther than 95% of humanity.
Awesome. Oh my goodness, man, you give us heavy duty stuff to think about, to reflect on. So we have our work cut up for us over the next few days. So thank you, James, for that. That's a nice reflection. Again, thank you very much for being part of this interview. To our viewers, we'll be in touch. Stay tuned, and until the next time, we wish you all a successful and blessed day. Bye-bye.